Yo, in this video, we're going to be going over some pretty crazy changes coming to PvE in New World. So if you're new to the game or you currently do not know, there are different damage types versus different mob types. So what we mean by that is, for example, you take a look at this chart over here. This is over on newworldfans.com. We'll make sure to link this chart in the description below. This is currently how it works on live. If you are fighting an ancient enemy and you're using something like a hatchet or a sword or anything that does slash damage, you're going to do a reduced amount of damage to ancients. If you're using a strike damage weapon like a warhammer, you're going to do an increased amount of damage to ancients. And every mob type in the game has this type of modifier associated with them. However, this is changing in a big way on the PTR. So let's go take a look at live right now, and then we'll take a look at the difference on the PTR. All right, so here we are in the live server, and as you can see, we have a hatchet out, and you clearly see blue numbers coming up. That means that we're doing decreased damage against this mob type, against ancients, with our hatchet, which is slash damage. We pull out the warhammer, and then there you go. You can clearly see the increased amount of damage we're doing to the ancient with the warhammer. Again, the increased amount of damage with warhammer, decreased amount of damage with the hatchet. So that is currently how it's working now on live. All right, so now here we are in the PTR, and we have our great sword out. It does slashing damage. So if we look at the damage numbers that are coming out whenever we're hitting this ancient mob type, we clearly see that we are dealing white damage numbers. They are not blue any longer with the slash damage against the ancient mob. So we pull out the warhammer, and you can clearly see we are still doing increased damage with the warhammer. But again, the interesting part here is that we are no longer doing reduced damage with a slashing weapon against the ancient enemy type. So this is a pretty pivotal to the PvE scene in New World, and the reason is because this has been confirmed to be how it's going to work on live whenever Brimstone hits. There will no longer be reduced damage types in the game. There will still be increased damage types with certain weapons, but there will no longer be blue numbers or resistances against mobs. So this is a pretty big deal for a lot of different reasons. So if we come back over to the chart over here on newworldfans.com, you can see here clearly that you do 40% reduced damage with fire against ancients. You do 40% reduced damage with lightning against angry earth, and 40% reduced damage to the lost with void. So what this change means on the PTR right now is that you are now going to be able to use some of the weapons you couldn't use previously in the game to DPS with in certain dungeons. They'll now be viable. You're going to be doing a neutral damage type versus a reduction in damage. And again, this has been confirmed to be the case. It is intended. It is an intended change in the PTR, but just keep in mind this is currently on the PTR. This is not on live servers yet, so anything could change. This could change before it hits live, but as of right now, those reduced damage numbers are gone, and I fully expect that to be the case whenever the PTR transitions on over into the live server. So this is a pretty big change to PvE, and I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think this is a good thing for the game? I personally do. I think it's going to allow us to use a lot more builds and expeditions. I think mages will now be able to use or be able to DPS in dungeons effectively now, whereas before they were kind of limited as to what they could do. I think this is a fantastic change. It's going to open up a lot of things for the game in and of itself in terms of build diversity within expeditions, because a lot more things are going to be viable now. But it is a huge change coming to the game. I just wanted to share this with you guys. And of course, if you want to continue the conversation, make sure to come on over to twitch.tv/BDLG. We stream over there every Tuesday through Friday, 8 a.m. CST. We play a lot of New World, and we just kind of talk about life in general. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful in any way, please make sure to like and subscribe, and keep the conversation going in the comments below. Do you think this is good for the game? How do you think this is going to affect things moving forward? And that's it for this one, guys. We'll see you in the next one.